What's up, guys? John Crump here. I didn't do a video yesterday, and I didn't do a video on Wednesday because I was a little bit under the weather. I am feeling better now, so much so that I am camping with my kids. And the campsite's about a mile from where we parked at, and I had to go back to the car for some reason. That is another whole ordeal, but I wanted to give you a little update on what's going on with BDU versus Rare Breed. They have settled out of court finally, so the case is over. They both entered into a consent agreement, which means they both agreed to the settlement, and part of the settlement was a permanent injunction against BDU or any of their companies. Big Daddy Enterprises owns BDU, and they also own Wide Open Triggers. So they entered into a consent agreement not to make the triggers anymore. So there is a permanent injunction against BDU, Big Daddy Enterprises, or any of their child companies from making force reset triggers. That includes the Wide Open triggers, and that also includes the Alamo 15 trigger. So both are now Dunsky. Also, they agreed to a settlement of an undisclosed amount of money for royalties and everything else. So Big Daddy Enterprises had to pay Rare Breed a little bit of money. I'm not really sure how much money that is, but they had to pay a little bit of money to Rare Breed, and that won't be disclosed because that's all confidential. Also, Rare Breed is the patent holder, and BDU acknowledges that. And BDU cannot claim that their patents are invalid or unenforceable. They have to acknowledge that Rare Breed does hold the patents, and that is that. So, the Rare Breed comes out a little bit on top, but also Big Daddy Enterprises wins a little bit too. At some point, usually during patent infringement cases or whatnot, they get kind of expensive. So it makes sense to settle out of court. And how big Rare Breed won, we don't know, because we don't know what the total amount is, and I doubt that we will find that out unless someone leaks. The court did say that they maintain jurisdiction over the case, so if anybody violates the consent agreement, they can be brought back into court. BDU also gets a dismissal with prejudice, which means Rare Breed cannot file another lawsuit against them again in court. So this is a good thing. Now Rare Breed is going to move on and go after the ATF. We will see. We should have a lot of movement in the case in the coming week to determine what's going to happen with that. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that here shortly. But for all intents and purposes, the Rare Breed case is now over in regards to suing over patent infringement. Rare Breed will vigorously defend their patents. I reached out for both companies for a comment. Tony McKnight and Lawrence DeMonico both gave me the same exact comment, which is basically no comment. Just that, that they both parties entered into a mutually beneficial agreement, basically. So, yeah, it's all over. I don't know. Force reset triggers are probably dead anyway, so I don't think it really matters that the permanent injunction is there. There's not really anything that they lose because they already got served by the ATF. So they're not making them anyway because the ATF showed up and took all their products. So yeah, there is that. So we'll see what happens with the Rare Breed case versus the ATF. Like I said, I think there's going to be some movement on it this week. And with that, that's it. Enjoy your weekend. Once again, I love you. Stay ever vigilant, stay ever free, keeping the fight. I am out of here. there's kids around, so Wolverines, you know the rest.